Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is November 5th, 2014, and today is Wednesday. So looking at the week, let's start with the economic calendar. Looking at today's economic calendar, not too many things coming out today, just a few things this morning. And then actually big numbers coming out of the U.S. at 3:15. That's the USD ADP employment change. It has some major bearings on the economy in the U.S. So that's a 5:15, and then USD ISM non-manufacturing PMI. I'm not sure how much that's going to add on to it. But tomorrow we have it's big numbers coming out of Europe. So in light of what's going on in the U.S. today, the ECB will be speaking tomorrow. We'll discuss that more in tomorrow. But that's something that you want to keep in the radar. So looking at the EURUSD here, we're having at 125.30. We hit a low of 124.60 in the sell-off earlier this week, a couple of days ago, and now we're just about 100 pips above that. But still, this thing has been beaten up so harsh and so hard over the past year, over the past 5 months, really, that any upside is really very positive for it. So let's see if the ECB President Draghi can, add some life into this exchange, into this currency, because it's been really beaten up very hard. So unless there's weakness from the U.S. and continued weakness, I still see the EURUSD being, around the 125 level. Looking at the USD Japanese yen, we've hit new highs today. We retraced a little bit, and now we're challenging it again. We're at all-time highs almost on a weekly fashion. Look at this. Okay, this is on a weekly. Okay, on a monthly, like I said yesterday, we haven't been at these levels since 2007-ish. So, this is major levels, major retracement. On the upside, this almost looks like a inverted head and shoulders. Big head here, but okay, it does still look like a decent play on the upside. Looking at some resistance, 120 is a major number for this. Okay, I remember this currency maybe 30 years ago when it was trading around the 120 to 110 level in the early 90s, which it did for a long time, and then it retraced. And you could still see that there's a lot of economic strain between the Japanese yen and the US dollar. Looking at the GBPUSD, dead end its tracks, still at the bottom of its tracks, kind of trading in this trading range, okay, between 159.60-ish level to 161, 80 level. So, if you're playing this range or trading this range, if you got in a 161, you could have made at least 100 pips, 150 pips just on this one down move, okay? So there are opportunities to perhaps buy the bottom of this range. Now, the more we challenge it, the stronger it gets. So just keep in mind that you should have a stop loss right underneath it if it does decide to break. Looking at the gold, like we mentioned yesterday, big sell-off on the gold this earlier this month. We're just talking about 5 days into the month, but since last week until this week, we've had a very severe sell-off, almost 1,000 points. And we're trading at 1,150. Now, I think it's justified personally. Gold is normally a adverse investment, meaning when the markets are not doing well, the equity markets are not doing well, people put their money in gold. So seeing how the equity markets are really doing very well, it does make sense, from the year 2007, 2008, where we had the big debacle of the markets selling off very harshly, the economic bust of 2008, you see that, gold really rallied very nicely, okay? For a long time, it was just, it was in the dumps at 350, 300 per ounce for a very, very long time. So it has been a really good investment over the past, few decades, but altogether, you have to remember that it's a commodity and not a growth index. Speaking of which, let's look to the biggest index in the world, the U.S. Stock Exchange, the Dow Jones. We're hovering right at all-time highs. You see how we are right here. We're not really coming in. Okay, we're not bouncing off. I'd like to see this bounce above 17,500. I want to see some catalyst. And like I said earlier, I think we could still hit 18,000 before the end of the year. Now going into next year, who knows? Maybe we can sustain this level, to even go higher. But in the short run, my next projection is 18,000. So let's see if it does come through for us. These are major rallies. Just in the past 2 weeks, it rallied over 1,000 points after selling off the first 2 weeks of October. Looking at oil, yesterday we mentioned if oil dips below 78, 77, it's going to take us down to maybe 75. And sure and behold, if I put my money where my mouth was, I would have been, much richer today. So, the next level down I would say is 75. So just keep it with a, if you're chasing it, I wouldn't chase it at these levels. I would wait for it to really settle down before jumping into it. But as you can see, 75, and then I would say 70 is the next support level, which it makes everything more affordable when gas prices are this cheap. Okay, looking at the USD ZAR, really taking a hit, almost back on its all-time highs. Okay, this is really related to the price of gold and some of the economic factors in South Africa. But we tried to hit this 1140 before, and then we retraced quickly and dipped right underneath 11. But now we're resurging again. We're above 1113. So I would keep this on the radar to see if really this wants to go on higher to 12, and continue its weakness for the ZAR. This is Razak at CMTrading. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.